Good afternoon, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is your short take. You know, I know I didn't make one yesterday, but I was busy doing postcard mailings to get the vote out. And that's exactly why I want to talk to you today. So I have been hearing some unbelievable shit out there. Um, like independent, independent women, I mean, independent voters who are female are leaning to the right. You know, Before we even get into any of the details about this discussion, let me just say that I find the notion that any woman in this country who has witnessed 4 years of Donald Trump and the travesty that has gone on since his departure, which is actually much more virulent than it ever was because he left behind an entire GOP legislation that is fascist. There's no other way to say this. I'm not going to say hard right because that's bullshit. Okay. We've had hard right before. This is fascism. I find it repugnant that women can even think about voting for the GOP after everything that they have seen here. And after all of the conversations that we have heard, for example, forget Roe v. Wade for 5 minutes. For 5 minutes. And let's just talk about how they want to go after contraception. And there are several people who are in office and at least a few running for office who are questioning whether we need the 19th Amendment. Do you women know what the 19th Amendment is? It gives you the right to fucking vote. Let that sink in. They think so little of women that they want to take your vote away now. There are men out there, one of them, at least one of them, is a GOP congressional candidate, saying that society has suffered because of suffragette, and he wants to repeal the 19th Amendment. I also find it quite repugnant that women, whether they're of birthing years or not, would throw other women under the bus. Americans are so fucking self-centered that they can't even band together for the greater good. When women can't band together after everything that they've been through, it's disgusting. Okay, that's number one. Number two, if you are thinking about voting Republican, you're not independent. In fact, none of us are independent. You can put an I next to your name all you want. At the end of the day, you're either voting Democrat or Republican. You're either voting for fascism or democracy. And I really believe that many of these women who are talking about swinging to the right are doing it because of the economy. When has the GOP done anything to better the economy for the average citizen? Now, if you're an independent woman voter and you're in the upper echelons earning 6 and 7 figures, then you're just another elitist. Okay, let's pretend that you don't exist. But if you're just an everyday workaday person worrying about whether you're going to have enough money for retirement, or maybe you're like me, you're 68 years old, retired, living on Social Security while they threaten to take your Social Security away, and living on Medicare for your health care while they're threatening to take Medicare away. And you don't care about anybody but yourself and whether you can improve your financial situation, then you're just useless. I don't care whether you're a female or not. We are 51% of the population here, women. If every woman in America came out and voted like they really do love this country, because that's what the right wing says, we love America, we want to make it great again. You want to make it great again? Send these cretins packing. They're fascists. Let's talk about this latest clown. I'm going to just bring up one candidate. North Carolina's 13th district, the last person to elect a young man unqualified for public office, who was Madison Cawthorn, who actually got defeated in the primary, but the man who defeated him is a Trump backed candidate. He's not any better when it comes to women's issues or anyone else's issues. His name is Bo Hines. His qualifications for running for the North Carolina 13th Congressional District is that he was a former football player. That's it. That's it. He's got nothing else to show you. He's 27 years old, has nothing else to show you. He's running against the Democrat, Wiley Nichols. Wiley Nichols is currently in the North Carolina State Senate. He has experience, okay? And he also was a White House staffer for Barack Obama. So qualifications, front and center, no contest, okay? By the way, Wiley Nichols is also supportive of women. Bo, our little Bo here, is doing just exactly what every other chicken shit, turn my tail and run Republican is doing. He's scrubbing his website of his anti-abortion position. You know, if you're trusting that they're scrubbing that because they now have flipped to the good side, you might as well be considered a moron on top of everything else. He wants abortion panels led by common people to decide abortions, the validity of abortions on a single day-by-day, case-by-case basis. So what does that mean? The school superintendent, the school janitor, librarian, postal worker. You're going to have a whole bunch of people with their ideology determining whether you deserve an abortion. You know what, ladies? Let me just mention one other thing before I leave you alone. If all you can think about is your fucking money, then you're useless to begin with. But secondly, there has been absolutely no case in history where a fascist government has delivered financial justice for the common man. Fascist governments, by definition, support the corporate entity. That's what fascism is. And you can see it happening right here because the GOP, they're raking in money from the likes of Peter Thiel and many other billionaires, you know, like Mr. Saeed, who funded the engineering of the courts to the right by giving $1.6 billion to the Federalist Society. This is how it works. And by the way, the GOP has already said they're going to try to ram through extending Trump's tax cuts to billionaires if they take control of the House and Senate. That added $7 trillion to this nation's deficit, that one act alone. Go ahead and tell me again just exactly how the GOP is going to deliver financial justice to women. They're not. They are here to make sure they protect their corporate benefactors. That's what fascism actually fucking is. And I'll say it again, as I have said it a million times since I started making these videos. There is no equivalence for this in the Democratic Party. They do not do this shit. They do not rake in billionaire bucks to oppress the people in society that they consider unworthy. Wake up, ladies. Seriously. If you think we've come a long way, baby, you're living proof that we got a long way to go. I'll talk to you all later.